Oh, the mayhem here. Yeah, I've been nominated by Radar 468 to do the Sic-Riks diecast challenge, and that's to choose 5 fantasy castings that I really appreciate. And as you can see, I've been digging deep in the carded section, and I also found some loose stuff. And I was quite surprised. I surprised myself actually as to the amount of bits and bobs that I managed to find in amongst my collection. So yeah, here we go. Without further ado. Good thing about this particular challenge is I decided to keep it again just purely Hot Wheels, and that made it a lot easier because there are some mad castings in both Matchbox, Corgi and Johnny Lightning and all the rest of it, and I'm sure that somebody somewhere out there is going to get the good idea to show their other kind of crazy fantasy castings that those particular manufacturers come up with. But I thought Hot Wheels do enough, and I was out down the shops looking at all the 5 packs and just generally getting lost in the land of fantasy. And I remember this piece here which struck me straight away, and this is the Piranha. Now, I'm not sure if this is one of my favourite castings, but it's definitely one of my favourite animal castings, because I mean Hot Wheels do so many animal castings. And here we are. This one's a T-Hunt from last year. It is pretty cool actually. The reason I like it is not, well, I like it because it's a fish and I kind of like fish, but I also liked it because it's a piranha. It also reminded me a lot of the bad guys in an old thing I used to watch by Jerry Anderson called Stingray. Remember the bad guys used to float around in one of these submarine type vehicles. So that's a pretty cool vehicle, but this is not in my top 5 castings. No. I've looked at the other ones and I don't really think, you know, I'm not really a big animal castings guy. I really like hot rods, as you can see behind you. I like a bit of engine on display. And so for my number 5, it's going to be Ratified. Now this piece, I've been dying to open it up. This is from 2012. And it's really quite unique casting. I'm not too sure how many times it's been released. Not that many as far as I can remember, probably 2 or 3 times. I really like the open wheels on this one. I love the way that the paint's done on it. It's a nice metal on metal piece as well. It's got a little bit of chrome here. This is all one piece, this chrome body shell, and the covers there for the pistons and stuff. But it's quite nice that it's all been hot wheeled up. It's a single seat cockpit as well. Driving on the UK side, very cool. But yeah, I like that piece a lot. Kind of gutted that I didn't pick up more of this particular one, and I probably will now that I've made it a big point of liking it. So that's Ratified. As you know, I do like my taxis and I like my buses, and got a couple of pieces to show you in that area. We've got the School Busted here. This is the only School Busted I've got, unfortunately. Wouldn't mind picking up something else of that in times. And also we have this, the Cockney Cab 2. Again, another piece that I kind of like it. Very souped up London cab, but not particularly fantastic. It's not really. I mean, you could probably do that to a cab, but you would certainly lose all your fares, that's for sure. No, definitely a casting for me that I really like is this piece here. This is 16 Angels, released in 2004, funnily enough. This one came to my attention when I got it in a 5-pack, and I was racing cars on my racetrack in those days, and this car is the fastest car in my garage. I'm not 100% right now because I haven't raced my cars for quite a while. But this is the 16 Angels with the metal base, just normal kind of wheels as well, nothing fast than ever about it. I think it came out as a treasure hunt as well. It's been around quite a bit, this car, but unfortunately now they've given it a plastic base, which definitely subtracts from from what I think is a hasty car, and very tasty too. This is at number 4 in my top 5. The 16 Angels. Watch out there, especially at the Diecast Racing channel. Fantastic little piece. Look at those. Sleek as well. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, already mentioned that I'm really into hot rods and stuff like that, and fantasy hot rods are definitely a Hot Wheels speciality, and so peeking in here at number 3 is definitely going to have to be the Astro Funk, and really like this. This is the first release of that model. Very nice little car. It's got a metal base, metal body. I think it's been released about 4 times. The last time it came out was in the Cool Classics. I don't have that one. I don't have any of the other ones except for this piece. And again, really Sic-Riks certainly given me food for thought, because I started having a close look at this car, and thought I'd just chase up some facts and figures on it. Now, it was designed by a chap called Felix Holst, and he's only designed 3 cars, and 2 of them are cars that I'm going to show you today. But the third car, and probably the one that everyone's going to know, is the VW Caddy, which came out last year in orange and has been released since. So yeah, Felix Holst, the little designer that people don't know much about. Now, I believe that he took his influence for this car and my number 2 car, which is this car here. Oh yes, the Fangula. Now, I think he took his influence, judging by these little headlamps, from the guy that thought up the Ratfink character, and that would be a chap called Ed Roth and his custom culture. Now, Ed Roth was a famous customizer of cars from the early 1960s right through to the early 70s, and his cars and his designs were right up there with Mr. Barris, who sadly passed away very recently. Of course, Ed Roth passed away in 2001. So, but his ethos and his design shapes and just general look at the world was totally different to everybody else's. We're going to crack this piece here. Actually, this is the last release of the Fangula. This is the Kroger exclusive Halloween car. Let's have a close look at that. Now, what I like about these cars, these 2 cars, is that they just go together so well. For one thing, it's almost built off the same chassis, but they're not. But they carry a theme, and the theme they carry, this Ed Roth theme, has been succinctly shown in my number 1 car, and we'll take a look at that in 2 shakes. Fabulous. Right, so here it is, the Beatnik Bandit. This will have to be my number 1 fantasy casting, even though it is actually probably not a fantasy car, because it was actually built by Big Daddy Ed Roth in 1961. Now, the cool story about this particular piece is obviously it was in the Sweet 16, and the Sweet 16, as most of the Hot Wheel collectors out there know, is the original 16 cars built in 1968. Now, they were all designed by a guy called Harry Bradley, and the interesting thing about Mr. Harry Bradley, yeah, look, Ed Roth. The interesting thing about Harry Bradley was that he only designed the first 16 cars, and then he handed in his notice and left the Hot Wheels high and dry. So this is just one of those legacies left over from that little period in time. And I'm going to crack this because I've never cracked a Redline Club car, and I don't think we ever have on this channel, and this is a darn good moment to do so. So let's have a little closer look at some Ed Roth, Harry Bradley activities. What a really nice little piece. And here's the interesting thing, these little signature headlamps and the little bubble roof and everything else, something that Felix has brought to life in this car here. Brilliant. Look at this thing, so glaring and wonderful and shiny. Beautiful. Wow. Anyway, I'm going to nominate some people to continue on with this fantastic challenge, and it's a great opportunity for all the people that I nominate to have a good look through their die-cast collections and suddenly realise that, yeah, you have got some stuff in there that that A, you didn't know you had, and B, you didn't know you liked. So which I've now actually do have a lot more respect for this this fantasy stuff. My nominations are Olly, who actually already has made his video. I told him about it last night and he just pumped one out. That was brilliant. I'm going to nominate Costa Rica Dave, or Hot Wheels Costa Rica. You know who you are. I know you've got to have some fantasy castings out there. You're probably the man that will do the Johnny Lightnings. I'm going to bring in Snackrelatedmishaps. Go on, Tim. I want to see your fantasy castings. I know you like more than VWs. You've got to. And I'm going to nominate Hazard777 because he's the guy that pretty much supplied me with this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. Yeah. So there we go. Hazard777. And for my bonus, I've got two bonuses. I'm going to do some UK Hot Wheelers. We're going to have madviperspencer and hotirishwheels. I hope you don't mind Sic-Riks, but yeah, it's time to share the love, and I think everybody needs to get into their little fantasy collections. I look forward to seeing Mushrooms one anyway. Anyway, this is K5 saying ta-ta for now, and glad you've hope you've enjoyed this little free song into the land of fantasy. Ta-ta for now.